Welcome to Citizen Concerned, where we remind you to beware of the comrades. I'm Katlego and would appreciate it if you subscribed to our YouTube channel, liked and shared this video with other citizens. A few months ago, we made a video regarding the rand manipulation by the banks, and we were looking forward to seeing the law take its course and these banks paying severely for their criminal activities. We recently came across an article that stated that the state institutions that were involved in providing evidence against the banks failed to do their jobs, and it appears that the case against the banks won't really go anywhere.
To this now, the Competition Appeal Court has thrown out the case against all but 5 of the 28 banks that were accused of colluding to fix the rand in the New York foreign exchange market more than a decade ago.
How pathetic and disappointing. You are an entire state. You have the police, the Competition Commission, the SIU, the NPA. Why would you not ensure that you gather all necessary evidence to make the implicated banks or bank employees pay for their crimes? What message are you sending to corrupt people in the private sector regarding committing crimes in South Africa, regarding the nation's justice system? And generally, in situations like these, most citizens do not look at the government in power and say the government is failing us, failing to hold the banks accountable for their crimes. Instead, they say the private sector is evil, the capitalists are evil, businesses are evil.
Today, the banks manipulate the rand. All of you here, no one has ever suggested any radical action against the banks because we are being controlled and captured by capital.
But you know what the truth is? All human beings can be evil, you and I included. And when there are no proper boundaries and policies in place, most people will do whatever it takes to benefit themselves. All people on earth have done one or more bad things in their lives. I mean, if SARS was not doing their jobs, do you think that people would pay their taxes? As it is, even with the strict measures SARS has in place, some people do their best to avoid paying their taxes. Now imagine how much worse things would be if those strict measures did not exist. So what is my point? The human race has evil people who will commit crimes or do whatever it takes to benefit themselves. In each country, the government must ensure that strict measures are in place in every industry to monitor that citizens and state resources are not being exploited. We pay our taxes for this primary reason. The government is there to do the work the citizens cannot do for themselves, such as holding big, irresponsible, or evil company executives to account. As we have said before, a country is like a family. The citizens are like the children and the government is like the parents. No matter how cute the children are, every now and then one bullies the other, and it is necessary for the parent to step in to protect the bullied one and discipline the one doing the bullying. Unfortunately, oftentimes irresponsible parents fail to do their job and make us hate each other as children. In South Africa, we are told about how the banks, the mining companies, and people or organizations in various industries are exploiting citizens and the nation's resources. And I always wonder, why is the government allowing them to do so? Why are the parents of the nation allowing some of the children to exploit others? They come out and make speeches as if they're innocent victims who just made these discoveries. But that is not true. They've been aware and chose to be quiet either because the exploiters are giving them kickbacks or because they have simply been too weak, incompetent, and lazy to do their jobs as the parents of the nation. Their job of protecting and disciplining. And I wonder if they will do their job in this Tiger Brands matter.
Civic organizations and affected families are calling for Tiger Brands to take responsibility for the 2017-2018 listeriosis outbreak. The outbreak claimed the lives of over 200 people.
Now, during the 2017-18 epidemic, the National Institute for Communicable Diseases verified that the meat processing plant owned by Tiger Brands' subsidiary Enterprise Foods in Polokwane had signs of the ST6 genetic variation of listeria. Now, at the time, over 1,000 cases of listeriosis were confirmed. 218 of those were fatal. Now, of the confirmed cases, 465 were associated with pregnancy.
6 years and still no answers, no accountability from Tiger Brands, as you say?
Quite an emotional, one of the plaintiffs, the main plaintiff, she is a female. She was pregnant at the time when she consumed this polony, and she has given birth to a child who is 6 years old. Her child now has educational and mental challenges, has cerebral palsy. Her child contracted listeriosis at 18 days of age. That was when she found out that she had listeriosis as well. She did not know at the time when she was pregnant that she had contracted listeriosis. When she had given birth, her child was not well. Her child has had 6 stents been put into her brain since the time she was born. She described their health, account, the money that have been spent. They had to sell their home to be able to afford for her child's, ongoing and future, sicknesses that she's going to have. She explained how her child is 6 and going into normal schooling, but cannot do so because she swirls herself. She does not have any confidence. This child has learning difficulties, but also her as the mum. When she was pregnant, she lost blood flow to both her hips. She now needs double hip amputations. She goes through severe pain from this. So what we found now is that in January 2024, that the NICD, through its labs, found that the strain of listeriosis, which was ST6, it's one of the strains that they found in the patients, were also found exclusively in the enterprise facilities that were producing that ready-to-eat polony, which is at the center of this public health outbreak that we know. The polony that was consumed by people that led to them then contracting listeriosis. From what they've seen now, 6 years on, they can almost 90% certainly put the blame at Tiger Brands.
I mean, if there is evidence that citizens lost their lives due to Tiger Brands and some citizens' lives were negatively affected because of Tiger Brands, why are they being allowed to delay the compensation process? They have insurance for things such as these, yet they are dragging the payouts 6 years later. Why? And more importantly, why is a government who is meant to hold both the public and private sector accountable just quiet? Why are they not making a statement regarding this?
This was part of an investigation conducted by the NICD, or the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, as part of their outbreak investigation in 2017 and 2018. It's just the highest form of testing that can be done, and they didn't do it on all of the listeriosis victims that they came across. They only did it on around 300 to establish a sample size and to establish that this particular strain came only out of Tiger Brands' Polokwane facility in the outbreak period. The most concerning aspect of this is that we have so many clients, so many class action members who are in need of desperate and urgent relief. We have mothers who lost children as a result of listeriosis. We have mothers who had children born with severe complications, brain damage, hydrocephalus, cerebral palsy, and all of those children need immediate assistance to enhance the quality of their lives. We're talking about children with severe disabilities that need special assistive care. We're also talking about class members who lost their breadwinner, lost the person who financially provides for the entire family, and are left picking up the pieces from that. We have claimants who cannot walk, cannot talk anymore because of listeriosis and have been unable to work since then and need constant medical care. So the longer that this is delayed, the worse these situations become for our claimants.
If spaza shop owners sell rotten or expired goods to kids, the people end up taking matters into their own hands. That is illegal, but when you have a government that simply does not care, that is the result you get. Mob justice becomes rife when the citizens know that the government is a government that just does not do their job. Why is the NPA not doing something? Why are they not using their power to ensure that Tiger Brands is disciplined and the citizens are protected? In the case of the rand manipulation by banks, what happened? What happened? And in most of these cases, evidence has been there.
The strongest case I've ever worked on, we have scientific evidence that demonstrates their responsibility for this outbreak that borders on certainty. It's certainly way stronger than the type of evidence that you would require to demonstrate paternity, because this is genetic evidence we're talking about, or to prove the identity of a rapist in a rape trial. It is evidence beyond any reasonable doubt.
Not only is it right for the government to identify the exploitation of other citizens, whether intentional or otherwise, and also ensure that necessary disciplining and protection follows, but failure to do so gives an opportunity for dictatorial, haphazard leaders to say something that will make the citizens happy today while risking their overall well-being in future. In most cases, the citizens have seen their exploitation. They have seen how their lives were negatively affected, and they have seen that the government is just acting blind and mute regarding matters. So when anyone comes in and says something regarding the matter, the citizens are more likely to support that someone. It's how dangerous people like Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma managed to garner support.
The banks manipulated the rent, made the repayments of your car more expensive, made the repayment of your bond more expensive, made the repayment of your loan more expensive, meaning they got more money than what they're supposed to get.
In this case, I can imagine them say something like this. Hey guys, these politicians only take action against black people. Tiger Brands is white owned. That's why they won't touch it. Whether Tiger Brands is white or not, the fed up citizens will not care.
His Excellency, President for Life, Field Marshal Alhaji Dr. Idi Amin. And that's not even the full title Uganda's former president bestowed upon himself. In 1971, Idi Amin ousted his former ally, Milton Obote, in a military coup. Initially, the new leader's arrival was met with jubilation. Soon that changed, as Amin's ruthless brutality became apparent. Over 8 years, the president eliminated any who opposed him. By the end of his reign, around 300,000 civilians had been killed at the hands of a man who came to be known as the Butcher of Uganda.
He could sometimes come to witness the tortures and also participate, because there are some people who he wanted to see really if they have been tortured and killed. That was his passion. He could enjoy seeing people suffer.
For 30 years, the ANC has been silent regarding issues that are close to people's hearts. And the EFF and the MK party are very vocal about them. And so people flock there without considering the methods of these parties, without considering the trustworthiness of these parties, without considering the long-term consequences of the solutions proposed by these parties and leaders. Which is why we need two things as South Africa. 1, the parties and leaders in the GNU really need to address issues that citizens are concerned about. And 2, parties and citizens need to educate fellow citizens of the dangers of temporary radical solutions.
Amin's presidency was filled with controversial policies, none more so than his decision to expel Uganda's Asian population. Despite making up only 1% of the country, they were responsible for around 20% of the national income.
In the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the wealth that is directly controlled by black people is less than 2%. The companies that are fully owned by black people are less than 2%.
But Amin didn't see them as beneficial to his nation. In fact, he accused them of being disloyal and sabotaging the economy.
The Uganda still not yet independent. Uganda will be independent after this, my decision, after I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians. It must be proper black, and administration in those shops is run by the Ugandans.
What is different between 1993 and 2018 and 2018? In actual fact, white people are getting richer, they're getting more comfortable. Those that benefited from colonial conquest, they are still in control of our resources.
No one cares. For 30 years, the inequality, the gap has widened. The rich have become more richer. The poor have become more poorer. And when I say the rich have become more richer, you are thinking of another black person. Whites have become more rich in South Africa than they were during apartheid.
Many had spent their lives building successful businesses. Amin gave them just 3 months to leave. In an instant, an entire community lost everything.
We leave house just like this and we ran away, only one suitcase. We kept our house and so when we come.
You've left everything behind?
Everything behind.
In conclusion, there are many things that are not going right in South Africa. There are several children, both in the private and public sector, who are exploiting and abusing several children in the general public. The parents, who are the government, cannot pretend to not see what is happening. They need to step up, discipline the parties that need discipline, protect the parties that need protection, and put measures in place that help prevent or easily identify exploitation and abuse. Failure to do so gives opportunity for the Idi Amins of South Africa to be supported and given a chance to do to South Africa what Idi Amin did to Uganda. GNU, the time is now. Take the necessary decisive action.
Now, the way a sentence is structured, you say, we are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. That means at some future date, we may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future you may very well call for the slaughter of white people?
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Yes, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
What will necessitate that?
You tell me.
I don't know. Why would I do that?
You've said you could do it in the future. Is that correct?
I can't guarantee that I can't do it or I won't do it.
Many of the 80,000 forced to flee ended up in the UK and prospered, but Uganda's economy did not. In the 3 years following their departure, GDP fell 5% and inflation rose rapidly.
The South African government started taking action against extortion and construction mafias. That is good. Let that action extend to all people destroying this country and making it harder for everyone to live a normal life in this country. People like drug dealers, human traffickers, trade unions, smugglers, construction mafias, corrupt politicians, corrupt people in the private sector, corrupt government employees, and many others. These people need to go to the naughty corner and very fast. Prison time. Give them a hammer and let them break big rocks into little rocks. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all your support in our first year of Citizen Concerned. It really, really means a lot to us. Please keep on sharing the videos far and wide. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our channel membership to support our work. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned, and until next time, beware of the comrades.